What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I am here today, and I'm going to be playing Alchemy. I was pretty down on the Alchemy format at the beginning. Really, that first day, I jammed my Judge Control deck in Alchemy, and there was so much random brewing and low power stuff going on that I managed to pick up a ton of games there. And honestly, it's probably a good format for Control, in the sense that a lot of the things that preyed on Control from Standard are gone. But for the most part, I wasn't particularly excited about it, and I'm kind of not super thrilled about all of the different, retroactively modified cards. And so I've been kind of holding off on it until, and this is a big until I found out that there was a 5-color Dragons deck that was actually performing well in Alchemy. And I'm just like, and so I am usually somewhere between a Spike and a Johnny, but when I hear that there is a competitive 5-color Dragons deck in a format, the Timmy and me takes over, and I've got to do it. So we're playing pretty much all the cool dragons from the format. We've got Inferno of the Starmounts, which was a terror back when AFR was released. We've got Goldspan, which even while nerfed is still pretty darn strong. So you don't get the treasure when it is targeted anymore, but you still get it when it attacks. And honestly, that's still pretty good. It's not as oppressive, but it's still a very strong card. We have Adult Gold Dragon, which is actually kind of a card that I didn't really spend a lot of time thinking about back when AFR was released, but it's a pretty solid card. You're going to see why it's a heck of a lot more solid in this context. And then we've got Moonveil Regent, which is just a really cool card from Midnight Hunt. Whenever you cast a spell, you can discard your hand, and if you do, you draw a bunch of cards, and whenever it dies, you can go ahead and smash either a creature or a planeswalker or a player for damage. And given that this is a 5-color deck, it's not impossible that this actually manages to deal a good amount of damage there. So that's pretty exciting. And then Galazeth Prismari is just a solid way to generate a bit of mana when it enters and make your treasures a little bit more stable. It's kind of like the legendary powered down version of Goldspan Dragon. It is what it is, but I love Galazeth Prismari, play him in EDH, and any excuse to play him in Standard or Alchemy in this case, I will take. Now you also see we've got Townraiser Tyrant. This is one of the new dragons from the Alchemy specific set that came out. It's a 4/4 for 4 flyer, which is already pretty good, but when it enters the battlefield, it goes ahead and makes any non-basic land it targets into functionally a basic land, so it loses all of its non-mana abilities. But also it says that the opponent has to take 2 damage or sacrifice that land every turn, and you'll find that a lot of players keep the land around a lot longer than they probably should, and so it puts this weird decision on your opponent where they either keep getting burnt out or eventually they have to sacrifice a land, and some decks really struggle with that. But the card that really ties it all together is Fearsome Whelp. And what I've found through both playing and seeing this deck in action is that this is a card that if you see it on the other side of the table, you need to kill it immediately. You look at it and it says, each dragon card in their hand perpetually gains the spell cost 1 less to cast. And so you're thinking how many dragons could they possibly have in their hand? And the answer is that even if it's just one dragon, if this sticks around for more than one end step, the amount of mana that it generates is incredible. And so what you'll see is that there are going to be some number of hands you have where you play a Fearsome Whelp on turn 2, and then you've got a Goldspan Dragon, a Townraiser Tyrant, Galazeth Prismari sitting in your hand, and then boom, that first end step, it generates 3 mana, boom. And sometimes these things get remarkably close to free, and so it becomes very, very easy to cast a lot of these, and especially since there's plenty of ways to generate mana in this deck. We're actually breaking out Orb of Dragonkind from Adventures in the Forgotten Realm, a card that I forgot existed until I started looking at the deck list that people were playing for this deck. And in this deck, it helps us fix some of the weird mana costs we have, and then if we get to a point where we no longer need it, we can use it to dig for a dragon, and it digs pretty deep, like 7 cards deep. If we're at a point in the game where we can dig into a Tiamat and then use Tiamat to dig up 5 more dragons, like, whew, this gets out of control. And then we've got Dragon's Fire as a solid removal. We've got Shatterskull Smashing. And that is the deck, really. We're generating a ton of mana. We're generating a ton of dragons. And honestly, even when it doesn't win, it does so many cool things that I just get giddy looking at most of the hands that this deck plays. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and consider this Rena's early Christmas present to me, because I cared not a lick about Alchemy. I didn't care about its inclusion or lack of inclusion, because I was just going to stick to playing Standard until I heard about this deck. And so we're going to play it. We're going to see how it goes. Anyway, I'll see you in the matches. All right, the next opponent up. He's Vigil. I'm not going to try saying that again, but good luck, opponent. This hand is not amazing, but we can get a little bit of a combo going, hopefully. Let's see. Got good coverage on colors. Feeling good about this. So blue-red is a good place to start. Green is the last color we need, because we literally only need it for Tiamat. I'm going to go ahead and drop black next. Really, the next thing we want is white, but we don't have access to white. So play this and get a Fearsome Whelp down and immediately discount our boys. Next turn we could play Cragcrown Pathway, get Galazeth Prismari, and we're apparently looking at a mirror. So that's cool. Alright, I'm going to hold on to that here. So this is where we get put to the test of, do I follow my own advice? Because if I were smart, I would just go ahead and roast this Fearsome Whelp, but then we're kind of behind on the whole dragon synergy. But alternatively, I could play Galazeth Prismari and just kind of hope that my handful of dragons is better than theirs. I don't know that I'm that bold. Let's go ahead and kill it. They already got too much value out of it, and now our dragons that we have in hand are going to be really nice and cheap, so we'll be able to double dragon next turn, which is a cool thing to get to say. Okay, so not quite a mirror. What is this card? Deals combat damage to a player. Exile non-land card from their library at random. During any turn you attacked with a wolf or werewolf, you may cast that and spend mana. Okay, so it's like the thing from Eldraine on steroids. So that's neat. Cragcrown Pathway. I want to put this on green, but I think I need to put it on red so that I can double spell. And yes, I put that on red. So Galazeth makes a treasure, and then Moonveil puts in and attack. So it does have to deal combat damage to a player, so we've got at least some decent blockers here. I'm wondering how many dragons they run, because if this already immediately says that they're not getting as good of what do you want to call it? As good of value out of it. So there we go. Moonveil Regent, you served us well. I will miss the little guy, but it happens. Alright, so Riverglide Pathway comes out. We've already got plenty of blues, so we'll get some more red. Orb of Dragonkind, because why not? And then Adult Gold Dragon. There is a chance that we regret this, because I don't know what sort of hasty things exist, but... Jeez. Okay, Conductive Current seems good. Alright, getting them having Goldspan, that is a good dragon to discount. So what do I want to do here? I think I want to take a peek. Get Tiamat, get my own Goldspan. Let's see, Goldspan I can cast Town Razor without having to use any of that. I'm pretty far away from Tiamat, unfortunately. I think the answer is probably either Town Razor or Goldspan. I think I want Town Razor. Probably will regret that. But the Temple of the Dragon Queen, reveal Town Razor Tyrant. Put this on, we're missing green for Tiamat. And then do this. Target a land. None of them really matter, but let's go ahead and just target the mountain. If they have like a creature land, targeting that with the Town Razor is good because it makes it unable to become a creature. And I'll go ahead and propose the trade for the Goldspan Dragon. Okay. Alright, and they sack the mountain. Time will tell if that actually matters, but oh, so the thing that they powered up with the Conductive Current, they played that as a land. Interesting. Blightstep Pathway is not particularly exciting, but we'll play that. Go ahead and propose the attack. Like, eventually they've got to run out of action, right? Beginning to wish I grabbed the Tiamat, because, like, in this situation, having access to Tiamat would have been really useful. Alright. They just keep using their Goldspans as removal spells, and Fearsome Whelp. I wouldn't mind one of those. Okay, so it's back on the first strike side. Alright, Hasty Dragon, I'll take it. Here, I do want to be able to block the Rahilda, so I'm just going to attack with the 1. We'll see if they take it or block it. Okay. So, again, we'll kind of find out one way or another whether or not they actually had any dragons in hand. If they want to kill Galazeth, they can kill Galazeth. Fine. Okay. Firebolt Charger. And I believe this is what they like to call a game. Boom. First W in the bag, I'll take it. Gavo the Jones. Good luck. Alright, well, this has some stuff. I have learned that this deck needs either accelerants or removal, and this hand has neither, so I'm going to mulligan. And I wouldn't call this great, but I would call it a hand. I'm not going to go any further than 6. Put Inferno on the bottom. Kind of pray to draw something. Alright. Well, that is technically something. It's just not the something I was hoping for. Alright, double temple is a little rough. So we got blue-red. I'm going to go ahead and get white here. Play Orb of Dragonkind. Mono-black decks in Alchemy have a lot of new toys that are very strong, and so I think we've got a pretty decent chance, but they're going to have enough removal that we're going to have to work for it for sure. So this is actually a really great opportunity to put Town Razor Tyrants to the test, so I'm going to want this on black, I guess. So Town Razor Tyrant turns off the creature land ability of this and makes them take damage if they choose not to sacrifice it, so that's pretty good for us. What? Alright. Whenever Good Morn Pac-Man servers enters the battlefield, each player discards a non-land card. Whenever a player discards a card during your turn, they choose another player. That player conjures a duplicate of that card in their hand. It can't. Oh. Well, I don't have a whole lot of options, but yikes. Have fun with your Moonveil Regent. I guess I'll take a Fell Stinger. Why not? Needleverge Pathway is not quite what I wanted to see, but it's a thing. Let's go ahead and play another temple. 5 mana doesn't really do a whole lot for us. I'm just gonna let it enter tapped. We've got that one in black, so we'll put this one in green. And then it's got Death Touch. Yikes. Play like that. I will... Do I want to propose this? No. Probably going to regret it, but I'm going to sit back. At least we're doing some damage at that hive. That seems good. Now, the nice thing about this Fell Stinger is I believe... Yeah, it's only because I spend mana as though we're any color. So I'll be able to potentially discard discard my hand and redraw if I play this Fell Stinger with the Moonveil out. See if it survives long enough to actually accomplish that. They're leaving back Gutmorn. I'll take the 3. Temple of the Dragon Queen. Okay. So, with this play, I'll go ahead and take, just to be on the safe side, I'm going to go ahead and get blue on this, so we still have plenty of red. We're going to Fell Stinger. It's going to be good. We can go ahead and discard 2 lands. Draw. Fearsome Whelp is good. I do like Fearsome Whelp. Sacrifice the Fell Stinger because why not? Draw 2 more. Okay, cool. I like this. I like this a lot. Fearsome Whelp doesn't really do a whole lot for us right now, but Dragon's Fire is going to get rid of this. I could discard here and see what happens. Yeah, let's do it. The Fearsome Whelp's not doing for much for us right now, but neither is that land, so watch. Gonna draw Tiamat. Let's put it to the test. At least I get some value out of this trade. Eventually, gotta do something about it, and I'm just low on answers, I suppose. Well, hey, we ended up with the thing anyway, so 6, 7 mana. If I specifically draw Tiamat with this, I'm going to be a little sad, but let's go ahead and crack Orb. Get Galazeth Prismari, Moonveil Regent. I think I'll take Galazeth. And then do this. And then this. Want to tap it. I want to make sure it taps it. There we go. And then... Why is that not working? Oh, okay. I have to sacrifice it. Forgot that Galazeth's tap ability is only for is only for instants or sorceries. If they want to block this, Mazel Tov, so they'll be able to deal 1 damage to me. Fine. There's another hive, so I wouldn't mind another Town Raiser, because now this hive is going to be an actual problem. The real issue is that I'm going to, if I chump with this Fearsome Whelp, then I guarantee the next card I draw is going to be something that I could have discounted, but I don't have any cards in hand. Why are you doing that? It's a 3/3. I can still technically take more. I'm going to take this damage, and well, didn't quite regret it yet, so that's something. And if they can't remove this, I think we got there. Oh no, they can sacrifice the land, so it's not quite GG, but they can still activate. Jeez, they are flooded on hives. Unless they have a way to drain me for that 1, though, I can block the Fellstinger, take the 3 from the hive, and then I should be able to crack back. There we go. We got it. Good game. Good game. All right. Next up in the Alchemy arena, we have Knight with the most creative of usernames, but good luck to you, Knight. This technically has removal, technically has accelerants, neither of which are the variants of those that I would like to see, but they are technically those things. So go ahead and give it a go. Opponent is immediately making life difficult for us. So let's go ahead and play Rockfall Vale. Give away a little bit less information so early. Alright. These are technically things that are happening, so let's go ahead and get this on white, because that's going to be relevant, and Orb of Dragonkind. This is good, because then we'll be able to Moonveil Regent next turn and start getting the things going. Opponent has something Foretold, and in blue, white, and in Alchemy, I have no idea what that means. So we've got green, we've got white, we've got 2 of any color. So I think the next up I need is black. So I'm going to... Well, we have black in hand. So I need blue then. So let's reveal Moonveil Regent. There is a chance that they counter here, but of all the cards that we have that they could counter, it's not the end of the world. There was no stick there at all, so that tells me that's pretty unlikely that they have a counter, at least one that can hit a creature. So just continue to hopefully YOLO our way to victory. I'm not going to discard my hand yet. That seems unwise. This time we're getting sticks, so either they have removal or they drew a counter. Okay. Well, that's a thing. So I'm going to still not do that. Alright, so this met them seek a 5-drop. So that's a thing. So, okay, so that was a 4 mana, so that was why they didn't have it previously. This is cool design for a card. I mean, as far as 4 mana counters go, it's pretty up there with some of the cooler ones. So let's go ahead and play Stormcarved Coast. Try to continue to make them have it. And they continue to have it. I will not discard my hand because we still have at least one useful thing in there. They're seeking up all sorts of cards. They have yet to draw a land for a couple turns now. Doomscar, fine. Still only get to do 1 damage, but 1 damage it is. old. Alright, so here, let's see, the temptation to just smash in with Adult Gold Dragon is pretty high, but getting Town Razor Tyrant down when they can't do anything about it is good, especially since we could turn off their cave. And I think, since we've got so much mana, my temptation is to sack this Orb of Dragonkind at the end of their turn, but we'll see how things go. They're living life kind of dangerously. Okay, well, they have to do the Doomscar, so that's probably why they're willing to live life dangerously. Wonder how many of those I yoinked up for them. Pass to attackers, and I'm going to go ahead and sack this. And Fearsome Whelp is good. Goldspan Dragon is probably the right call because, I mean, if I get Fearsome Whelp, there's a chance that there's a dragon I draw that's good, but I don't know. It seems optimistic. So we'll bring this in on, so we've got green, we've got blue, we've got black, we've got white. Alright, so we've got enough of our colors here. So I'm going to reveal Goldspan Dragon since they've already seen it. Let's go ahead and get a separate green source just to say we did it. Goldspan. All attack. And now end turn. I gotta have something good here, because I got another hasty threat. Okay, they had a Doomscar, but now they're tapped out, so you lose? Good game, Knight. Good game. Alright, our next opponent. Matt, 1779. Good luck. Wonder what the significance of 1779 is, because you're either it's either a code of some sort for you, or you're incredibly old. Not the greatest assortment of lands we could have hope for, but we're almost certainly going to be able to cast an Adult Gold Dragon pretty quickly, so YOLO. I will say that the inclusion of some of these Universes Beyond cards in the format has led to some like interesting card names, but for some reason Adult Gold Dragon, there's like nothing like non-magic-y about that, but for some reason it just feels like the least creative name you could have had for a magic card, but anyway. Alright, the Clerics deck. So this is going to be rough. I would like to get down a Fearsome Whelp, but I think I've learned the hard way. Decline. This is one of those things you gotta get rid of sooner than later because it kind of takes off. It's that and the Valkyrie that just get a little too intense, a little too quickly. Now here, we'll go ahead and put this on green, get the orb, and Fearsome Whelp. Get the discount train a-rolling. Skyclave Apparition. I mean, it's annoying, but we've got what we need to cast what we need to cast anyway. So, let's see. Actually, so if I pay the 2 mana, I'll have. So if I pay 2, I'll have 3 left over. No, I can't do that. Okay. Adult Gold Dragon it is. I'll attack. One of the things that, in addition to winning the game, ends up being really important is this card. You've got to keep their life total low enough that they don't just... Jesus Christ. That they don't just... play the Valkyrie and immediately kill you. So this Inquisitor Captain is so busted. Like, I mean, I guess one of them is a Glasspool Mimic, but like, that is a hell of a card. Let's be real. Jeez. So I'm in a weird position here. So I can Goldspan and then Dragonfire or something. Let's go ahead and choose a dragon I control. Why not? So targets, Voice of the Blessed, auto pay. Choosing this. And then end turn. I'm going to keep Shatterskull Smashing because they have a bunch of things that just need to die. Vanishing Verse there means that they're not just dead next turn, but we've got them pretty low, and this Adult Gold Dragon is going to continue to do work. We've got enough life that I'm actually not crazy worried at this point, so there's that. There are still plenty of ways that this could go horrifically wrong. Aura's pretty up there in terms of ways that this can go wrong. Jeez. These are Clerics too. These things are... This Clerics deck is just busted. Play the Orb, and then, I mean, don't know what else I'm supposed to do, really. So, I've got 4 mana, 7 next turn, or 6 next turn. They're going to gain some life back. We've got enough that if nothing too crazy happens this next turn, I can sort of soak it up, but, yeah, this is not ideal. It's not ideal at all. Let's do attackers. So they're going 9. I'm not going to block. There's a chance that they've got a Meat Hook Massacre and they were hoping to get me to block something and get some easy value out of it. As it stands, they... Oh, okay, well, they can still Meat Hook Massacre for 3 if they want, but if I had blocked something, then they could have Meat Hook for 1 and gotten... not have to give up their entire board if they wanted to do that, but... We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Well, the upside is that if they get back Skyclave Apparition... Oh, no, they're going to get back Big Boy. Alright. Skyclave Apparition nicely can't hit most of one board. They could just take an Orb, but... So, let's see. What happens this next turn? So I have 2 options. So I can play Shatterskull Smashing next turn and have up a 7/7, or they scoop it up. I was gonna say leave up Tiamat or sacrifice Orb of Dragonkind to try to find another Adult Gold Dragon or a Goldspan, and then that would have been a win. But they made the decision for me. So cool. Would have been cool to get a Tiamat on the board, but oh well. Alright, and welcome back for the wrap-up. So what we learned this week for sure was that dragons are really, really cool, and getting to cast a bunch of them will never stop making me giddy. We also learned this deck operates essentially as a combo deck. So you can't just keep hands that just have the big high-end threats, because this deck is just... it's too... many high-end threats. That's all it is. Because if you look at like the curve for this deck, it's just there's nothing at 3, and so we've got all this stuff here. So it's really hard to know without having played this deck a lot what hands are keepable and which hands aren't, and I still don't have a good sense for that. But the rule of thumb that I found in jamming a few games with this deck is that opening hands are keepable if they have a piece of removal or an accelerant. In a perfect world, you have both. And so it is more important to have at least one of these things that we would play on 2 than it is to have a fistful of big dragons. If you are looking at having already taken a mulligan and saying, is this worth going to 5 over. I would say prioritize any hand if it doesn't have an accelerant and you're looking at, you know, just the big dragons in there. If it has Galazeth or Goldspan, that makes it a heck of a lot more keepable, because these are the cards that get you to the others. Because once you can sort of drop down a Town Raiser and start getting some damage in that way, use the Moonveil Regent as a blocker that can sometimes ping off some of the smaller things, gain back some life that you might have lost using the Adult Gold Dragon. Life is good, but they don't keep things going on their own. Like, these 3 cards are kind of just for moving the game forward. But in terms of getting things kicked off, Galazeth and Goldspan are really where it's at. I am interested to see if there's a less combo-y version of this deck that sort of dials back some of the everything is a dragon synergy. Like, literally everything in this deck is either a dragon or has a dragon synergy. And that's really exciting because, like, it's not often that you get a Timmy-ish deck that is this darn strong. And getting to play Tiamat and, you know, tutor up a bunch of dragons, like, it's just so good. This is enough of a one-shot pony that, like, if you keep bad hand and it starts going downhill, there's not a lot of ways to sort of just eke out wins. We saw a couple of close calls there. You know, there's that Clerics game where it's just, you know, every turn you're just like, please don't drop the one thing that just murders me at this point. And, you know, sometimes you can pull it out there. But this deck definitely punishes you for bad keeps. But, man, when it wins, it is so much fun. And so I don't know how much Alchemy I'm going to be playing on the channel, but this deck made playing a format that has a lot of, shall we say, controversy associated with it, a legitimate delight to get involved with. So I'll certainly be jamming this on the ladder, but I'm just so glad that they put in something busted enough to make dragons work in a virtual standard format. So anyway, please, if you liked the video, please consider subscribing, drop a comment. All of this interaction makes this so much better for me, and it really helps support what I do here. I'm hoping to be able to ramp up some additional content soon, and getting some additional votes of support from you, my loyal viewers, will make that all much easier to justify. So until next time, this has been Marshall here in the MTG War Room, and keep on keeping on until we see you next. Bye.